Hi guys, welcome to week 4 of the 8-week body transformation challenge. I hope that you guys are still really enjoying the challenge. I hope that you're enjoying your workouts. I know that I've got some good feedback from a few of the group fitness classes that you guys are loving it. You're loving the variety and the new challenges that we haven't done in the past before, which is really awesome to see. And my online guys are also doing really well, doing those workouts from home. They're going running and walking as well, which is great to see, and everyone is feeling much better for it. And the results have already started to show. There's been centimeters lost. Some people are really good at tracking their food. If I can give you one tip, it is to track your food. It's going to be the most helpful thing for you to actually hit your goals. And the other thing is, even when your goals are not body-based, so then when they're not about weight loss, for example, then and we make our goals about strength, fitness, and improving our health, we're probably going to be much more likely to see the results than when we focus on purely weight loss. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about weight loss, it's more about gaining the best, most optimal health that you can gain. And tracking our foods can also help us to perform a lot better when we do our workouts, and give us the strength to get better results from our workouts, because we're able to perform much better and at a higher quality. Alright, anyway, today what I wanted to discuss with you was the 3 macronutrients. So we know about fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. I have talked about in the last couple of weeks, we discussed aiming to get your protein up around 100 grams per day at least, and that generally makes a really big difference into weight management, and also like muscle building, repair, muscle tone, and performance, sports performance as well. It also really helps to stabilize your blood sugars, making sure you don't hit a wall and have an energy crash, and it helps to keep our energy level and stable throughout the day. And now we're going to talk about the roles of each macronutrient and why we have them. So firstly, first thing to consider is, we know that carbohydrates and protein have 4 calories per gram of those macronutrients. So for every gram of carbohydrate you have, you get 4 calories. For every gram of protein you have, you get 4 calories. So it's pretty equal there, right? But when we take a look at fat, it's over double that amount. So fat actually has 9 calories per gram of fat. So when we are looking at weight management specifically, or calorie control, then what we do need to be mindful of is how much fat we are consuming. However, essential fatty acids are very important in the diet, and I don't ever recommend a low-fat diet at all to anyone, because fats are so necessary for so many roles within our body, especially for brain function and hormone function in particular. Okay, but anyway, so the role of carbohydrates. Basically, they provide us with energy, and they're a really good source of fuel for our body, because our brain loves carbohydrates because it gets turned into a fuel source called glycogen, and it's really easy for the body and the brain to use. So that's our most efficient energy source in our body. So we need carbohydrates so we're not hitting energy slumps, and we're able to keep our energy stable throughout the day. However, even better is when we have a protein source with a carbohydrate source, so that way it balances the energy even better. Another thing to be mindful of with carbohydrates is your complex carbohydrates and your simple carbohydrates. So simple carbohydrates are basically fast release energy, so they tend to spike your insulin levels, bring them up, and then bring them down even quicker. So when we are wanting better energy levels and more stable energy levels throughout the day, what we want to choose more of is those complex carbohydrates, like your brown rices and pastas, your whole foods, not the refined carbohydrates, so not the white sugar, not the cakes, not the sugary foods, sweet foods, those kind of things. However, the faster release energy carbohydrates are really good prior to a workout. So about 30 minutes prior to a workout, when you have a banana or a high sugar food, even like a drink of juice, it's actually a really good way to fuel that workout and get really good results from your workout, because you've had that nice energy boost that's quick prior to training, about half an hour. Okay. Also to take note on that is your complex carbohydrates tend to be more nutrient dense, and the whole idea of this challenge is to become healthier, right? So what we need to be mindful of when we're becoming healthier is not just weight loss, but getting the most micronutrients from our food. So our micronutrients are our vitamins and minerals, okay? So the higher quality our food is, the higher density our nutritional value is, and the better we are going to feel. So if you choose more of the refined carbohydrates, you're definitely not going to feel as good as choosing the complex carbohydrates and the foods that are full of micronutrients, okay? Alright, so that's enough about carbohydrates. Next we have our protein. So why do we need protein? Well, our protein is broken down into amino acids, and our amino acids are basically the body's building blocks for cell renewal and repair. Really good for immune function, our muscles and all our tissues, our hormones, and all the enzymes in our body as well. They're a really good source, protein's a really good source of energy, and it basically is needed to start the other processes that happen in our body as well. So when we are lacking in protein, we're going to feel tired, lethargic, drained. We're not going to build muscle. We're probably going to have really slow recovery as well. So when we do train, we're probably going to be feeling a lot sorer than what we would if we had adequate protein in the diet. Now, do I recommend a protein powder? I don't recommend whey protein powders. They're okay if you don't have any issues with whey or dairy. However, I find that most people do. Most people get phlegmy from whey, they get bloated, they feel uncomfortable, and it makes the whole process or digestion worse. What I do recommend if you are using a protein powder is a vegan option or collagen. So you've got like your no whey collagen protein powder, and you also have pea protein powder, which is a really good source as well of protein because it has that isoleucine in it, which is really good for muscle repair and growth. Okie doke. So that's mostly it about protein. We need it for the essential amino acids and all of the roles that they play within the cells in our body. So we can get protein from some plant foods, but a lot of protein comes from our animal sources. Then on fats. So fats tend to have a bad reputation. However, fats are really, really good for our hormones in particular and our brain function. When we have low fat diets, you can generally tell when someone's got a really low fat diet because their skin shows it. So their skin is like really dehydrated, it's kind of sunken in, and they might have really bad acne. There's lots of different things that happens when we lack fat, but we really want to ensure that we are having good healthy fats every day in our diet. Our omega-3s are very limited as to what sources we can get omega-3 fatty acids from. So when you're looking to get omega-3s, which are really important for overall health, cardiovascular health, hormones, all of those. So your chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, as seeds or as oils are really good sources of omega-3 fatty acids, as are your whitefish or salmon as well. So seafood is a really good source of omega-3 fatty acids as well. So we have your saturated fat, which is the fat found in meat and butter and cream, which is more your animal sources. You have unsaturated fats, which are your good fats that are found in olive oil, avocados, and nuts. And then you have trans fats, which are like commercially produced fatty acids that are really not good for our health, which are more in our baked goods and snack foods and fast foods and margarines. Okay, so when we are looking at our fat percentage of how much we want to consume per day, we basically want to keep it under 30% per day. Okie doke. So if you're at about 40% carbohydrates or 35% carbohydrates, maybe 35% protein, and then about 30% fats, that's a good macro split to have. However, you can change and alter that however you please. Just be mindful of going over that 35% of fats, and definitely not consuming more than 65% of carbohydrates unless you are an elite athlete who needs the carbohydrate for fuel. Okay, I think that is it really. So they are our macronutrients. I don't know if you guys are interested in macronutrients, but I thought it's really good to understand what roles they play in our body and why we need some of each, and we don't necessarily want to have a low fat diet or a high fat diet or a high carb diet or a low carb diet. We want to eat a variety of each of those. We don't want to overeat those, and we don't want to undereat those. So yeah, just make sure you are getting a variety of everything. And when you have a look at in MyFitnessPal the nutritional table, you can look at the percentages of each macronutrient. Try and have a look to see if it is where we've discussed today. So trying not to have it over, 60% fat or 60% carbohydrates is a really good point to make of that. Lastly, I touched on it just before, micronutrients are so important. They're all our vitamins and minerals, so like your magnesium, your zinc, your B vitamins, your vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K, all of those essential vitamins and nutrients that you need from food. Be mindful of whether you are getting them in your diet, because if you are deficient in any micronutrient, this will affect your results. This will affect your energy levels, and it will affect your overall health and the symptoms that you show. Okay, so when we are doing this challenge, our most important thing to think about is, are we getting enough micronutrients? Are we really choosing the most nutritious meals that we can possibly choose as much as possible? Yeah, we're allowed, a treat here and there, but is the majority of our meals that we're eating nutrient dense? Because that's what we want. You can make any meal more nutrient dense by adding a salad, adding veggies into it, as you're cooking it, like a bolognese, bulking that up with a heap of veg, your stir fries, all of those sort of meals. Even if you're having a sandwich, it doesn't have to be a ham and cheese sandwich. You could have like a ham and salad sandwich instead, and then it's much more nutrient dense than if you were just to have ham and cheese. Okay? Alrighty, that's my little spiel for today. Hope you guys have learned something new, and I hope that you are being mindful of your macronutrients and why we're eating them. Yeah, okay. Have a great week, guys, and keep up the great work. Let me know how you're going. See you.